finally done. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Panther fans, welcome in, because the Carolina Panthers are in. They're in the dance, baby. They're in the playoffs. The playoffs? It's been, 2018? However long. I don't even know what
the 2017 season, but it was officially technically in 2018. So
the
8
drought.
years.
The drought is over. Even though the Carolina Panthers snuck in through the back door, they got let in. They're like some underage kids sneaking into a bar, getting into a concert with no ticket, seeing a movie for the second time. And you know what?
Yep.
They are. We bought a ticket to this season, and we saw a movie against the Los Angeles Rams, and we were at home, and we won it. So we said, you know what? Let's stick around and see another showing right there. The Carolina Panthers, thank you, via the Atlanta Falcons beating the New Orleans Saints in a three-way bizarro tie where the Carolina Panthers swept the Falcons swept the Saints, and the Saints swept the Panthers. This bizarro division somehow has led to the Carolina Panthers hosting a playoff game. But for many people, according to Rams fans and analysts, this is the team you want to be playing, the Carolina Panthers, if you're heading into this playoffs. This is ideal in their scenario rather than being a higher seed. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. It's Tuesday night. Tonight's show, nobody believes the Panthers can beat the Rams. Do you? 10.5-point underdogs, the Carolina Panthers. Wow, they are hosting a playoff game, are up for a big challenge, CK. This is a test of what many people thought was the best team in football a little over a month ago. Started with really a downslide in many ways because of the Carolina Panthers. Matt Stafford still on that MVP campaign. A poor month for the Los Angeles Rams has them licking their chops to get back on track against the Carolina Panthers. Welcome back to the C3 Panthers podcast, CK.
Man, listen, I don't know if you got a chance to hop on to do your reaction on Sunday after the Falcons were able to gift us with a trip to the NFC South title, to the playoffs, which is a wild, when you 3 weeks before the season ended, none of these outcomes were going to be expected from anybody. Nobody thought that nobody thought the Bucs were going to lose to Miami. Nobody thought that the Falcons were going to win against the Rams. Nobody thought that the Panthers were going to just crap the bed against the Saints 2 different weeks. There were so many moments where it was just like, who wants to win this division? And nobody did. And so basically what we did is we left it up to our division rivals to make that choice for us. But man, we're in the dance. One of the things that I find absolutely hysterical is John B. Jenkins put something in the chat that adds a fourth leg to this destiny thing that I've been on. And that is the last time we played the Rams in the playoff was in 2004 on January 10th. And that was the year we went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow. We were a wild card team.
Hold on, Tony. We're playing them this year on January 10th.
Wow.
And
this time we're not the wild card, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would argue that we are probably more wild card than the Rams are.
Or, more of a wild card than a division winner in some ways, if you think about what the wild card is meant to achieve.
Yeah, it's wild. And John B. Jenkins asked me to check the C3 Legion chat. I'm not in that chat, and I'm also taking a small break from social media. I'll be, so if you're something you want to share, feel free to do it in the chat. We'll be happy to pull you up there, John B.
Let me see what he's got here. All right. Thanks for joining the C3 Panthers podcast. The number's 252-228-5098. Thank you for all of you in the chat, from Bees Knees, Panther Gal, formal babysitter, John B. Jenkins, Blind Panthers Vlog, Black Angel Productions, Duke Thunders. Hey, look, I see some C3 super fans in there for $1.99 a month. You can support the show. You hit the join button. A little bit goes a long way as we continue to try to eke out this podcast over 14 years. And it's like the Panthers trying to eke out a win, trying to eke out some hope and some success. We'll go ahead and start with this, though, is the Panthers are NFC champions. And this is not the first time the Carolina Panthers have been NFC champions with a losing record. It really would have been nice. What would we have been at? We would have been at 9-8, right?
Yeah. Then are you talking about the last time we won the division?
No, I'm talking about like if we would have won against Tampa. Our record was
we'd be 9-8. We'd be positive. So had the refs not stolen that game from us, we would have been a 9-8 football team, which, by the way, makes me less like everybody's going to see. One of the things I talked about in the Tuesday show last week, but also after we got into the dance, is we got to keep in mind we have to do something in this playoffs. We cannot just be a one and done, because what is going to undoubtedly happen is they are going to change the rule. Because it's already been proposed last year. And I think the Panthers being probably the least exciting team in the playoffs this year. I think that if we just go out there and get curb stomped by the Rams, the Panthers are going to be the reason that they possibly change the way they see the playoffs. And we cannot be the reason that they do some crazy change to the entire NFL, just because I think that is far more embarrassing than just losing in the playoffs, in my mind.
I put up this is somebody pointed out that we were division champs in 2003. I felt like, though, I guess so. I mean, we just had to. I mean, I don't compare. I mean, that was what 20.
You got to keep in mind we only played 16 games then, and so that was we had already played a playoff game by that point, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we had the Rams was an upset. Then you had to go to Philly for the NFC Championship. I know we were on the road in that Rams game. So we had played, I don't even remember the round before. Seems so long. I thought we were a wild card, but I guess not. No, we were wild card the following, I think when we went back. It was 2005 when we lost to the Seahawks. I think that's right. That's what I'm thinking right there.
Oh.
Trying to think back I'm looking at what John B. Jenkins put up here. Look back. Can't really read this very well. John B., you're gonna have to come on. You have to call in and tell us what I'm supposed to make of this. Is a little bit much there. The Carolina Panthers, NFC champions, though. We were 3-time NFC champions from 13, 14, and 15. Led to the Super Bowl in 15. The 2014 season was 16 games. So I got to do my math right. What is 16 with a tie? 15, 7, 8, and 1.
Yeah,
I believe 7, 8, and 1.
In 2013 or 2014, you mean?
2014, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I did see this. The Panthers on Panthers.com have this up. Let me pull up the article. I got it in the. Well, how about this? Let's just start this. Is the talk of the town, not the talk of the town, is how do you feel to be NFC champions in this division right now? I have in the past, in those years that we played that 7, 8, and 1 particularly, we had the same conversation, or you heard the same conversation around the league about how crappy the NFC South was. I mean, am I just so used to turd football in a way, or to slogging through a season to where I'm so happy about 7? It's not even the being a champion, but I'm so happy about 7 wins, which I guess is only 8 wins, 8 wins.
Yeah.
A 2-game improvement that I've been like ultimately pleased with this season in so many ways. I have not.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Looked at the NFC South as the complete dumpster fire that the rest of the NFL has. And maybe that's just that internal bias of me just like zoning in here. How bad is this division? And is this something, or is this like is this a champion? Are you happy that they put the graphic up that the Panthers embrace. I mean, I guess they have to. What do you think about this championship? What does it mean? Does it mean, how much does it mean to you, CK?
Well, I think it means a lot for a couple of reasons. Number one, it means a lot for the fact that next time Greg comes on the show, he better be clean shaven. So
wow, that poor guy. He's like, I didn't expect it this way.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to happen like this. Second, I mean, it's listen, anytime you have a chance, there's a lot that can happen in a season. Are the odds in our favor? Absolutely not. The odds weren't in our favor to win against the Rams or the Green Bay Packers. We were not favored in a lot of the games that we played that we did get wins in. So I think that when you look at the trajectory, I mean, number one, keep in mind, we're playing the Rams. We've already beaten them. Doesn't mean we're going to have an easy game against them, by the way. It just means that we've beaten them. So it is possible. Another team in the playoffs right now is the Green Bay Packers. We've beaten them. So we've beaten two teams that are considered pretty quality teams in the NFC already. So to say that our chances are absolutely zero, I wouldn't follow that trajectory. I do think that it's an uphill climb, but my excitement level is still incredibly high. I mean, to be able to have people come up to me and talk to me about how we, congratulations, you made it into the game, and or who you guys playing this weekend and all that stuff. Like, how often that has happened to me in the past 6 years, 6, 7, 8 years? None, because we haven't been in the playoffs. So I'm just happy.
Yeah, I know my coworkers are like, Panthers in the this girl goes, Panthers in the playoffs. I don't, that's all I know. She said, and then she walked away, and I was just like, all right. Yeah, we did. How about this? Is CK, why don't we just go to John B. Jenkins for a little explanation?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
just jump into that and see. But here's John B. Jenkins filling us in, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Here, I'll pull it up on.
Point of why I was calling, because I was just blabbering on about how I used to work in the radio business. But who cares about that? I got this artifact from, 24 years ago now? 22 years ago. I can't do math. 22 years ago. It is the media guide for Jim Zoki of the Panthers Radio Network, and it says Carolina at St. Louis, January 10th, 2004. We are playing the Rams this Saturday, which I think is January 10th. Am I right? We were playing them on January 10th. 2026, 22 years later. It's just another piece of the puzzle. We are going to win the Super Bowl this year, guys. I promise. This is it. This is going to be fucking awesome. I am so super excited. I cannot believe we're all getting to talk playoff football tonight together. Tony, I have been watching this show since it was you and Mel and Joey. And it is just like, oh my God, how far we have come. This is fucking crazy. Cody, CK, I don't think I've ever been able to celebrate good Panther football with you guys.
You haven't.
Amazing, guys. I am so excited. Anyway, that's all I got for right now. I love you guys. Keep pounding Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding Panthers. Roshlaw. Go Fish. Keep pounding C3 Panthers Podcast. This is John B. Jenkins out.
Hold on. I might have played the damn call out of order.
Well, he said that he was just going on about being in that radio network, but yeah, that's okay. I'll say this, and John, if you need us to play that first one, we can. But as far as is the destiny. It's what I put this up in the presentation because I just wanted to get it right. I kind of feel like an NFC South championship shirt should probably be a little bit more, stylish than this. I don't know. This is kind of underwhelming for the merch that they're putting up for. Yeah,
it's modest.
Yeah, it's modest, if you will. Been there, won that. Like I don't know. I feel like there's so many more things you could have put here. I don't know. It felt like somebody just put something out there thinking that we weren't going to actually win. So they just like, oh, let me put something together real quick and not put much effort into it because it's not going to matter.
I mean, I do like the idea of like not over celebrating this, but too much, but just like putting on, getting your lunchbox. I mean, I guess the team here, I wanted to go. Oh, okay. Well, it's a little later. I want to acknowledge this is thank you, Duke Thunders, for the C3 the Copay, aka Love Bomb here is he said a reasonable compromise would be all division winners are guaranteed a playoff spot, but not a home playoff game. We're talking about, I think, in response to a comment, a couple of people were talking in the chat about get rid of the division system for playoffs. Only you don't have to play your division rivals for twice a year. CK, as we just go back and kind of, I want to say maybe finish up or continue to talk about that NFC Championship. I do like the division setup. I do like the incumbent rivalries that creates.
I think it's a dynamic that if you were to remove just because we have a team that's 8 and 9 or 9 and 8, it's like saying that a division, let's say the going to the AFC West as an example, right, where they all have to play each other twice, and maybe they all just split. You're talking about a guaranteed few losses, and I don't know. I just feel like when you're playing, I do think that there's a dynamic to a specific division that makes the 14-2 win record a little bit harder to come by than maybe other division record, divisions in the past, i.e. the AFC East has been like that historically up until this year.
Well, I mean, you could say that our division has not been ultra competitive in the stage of football in so many ways at different points. But I just think there's something that for the fans that it does for the teams. Yeah. It creates a familiarity. It creates these rivalries. I like the idea of almost having to factor that in how you plan for the future. I mean, you think about them drafting Thomas Davis to spy Mike Vick like us, because you're going to have to play this guy twice a year. I like the divisions. I like it too, because I mean, yeah, it is that like that. And maybe for football players, that rivalry is not as intense as it used to be in the past. Like since the jersey swap became part of football, where guys are at the end swapping and signing jerseys and trading them. I want these players to hate the Falcons like I do. And I do think that having to play them in this does create that, but it certainly does for fans. But I certainly agree with the comment that if we are concerned about how that could potentially water down the product, or maybe in the case of the current playoffs where the Rams, or at least fans and analysts, are seeing it as a benefit of finishing as a lower seed, because you don't have to take on the Seattle Seahawks or the 49ers in that first round, that I could see this as division winners get in, but not guaranteed a home playoff game. I could handle that. I
could see that. I mean, I don't think we earned a home playoff game. I could tell you that much. I think if I'm the Rams fans, if we come in and lose to the Panthers because we feel like there was a home field advantage and what have you, I think, you definitely start the conversation of pushing for some change like that at the very least. I think that type of a change seems reasonable.
And but it keeps the division system that way.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that us being a losing record and making it into the playoffs, and the fact that last year the Detroit Lions were already pushing for a change to the seeding, based on exactly what we're dealing with now, I just feel like it could gain a little traction, and I'm certainly worried about that.
So this is the current layout of the NFL playoffs. The Rams are in the when I was listening to maybe I think it was Daniel Jeremiah's podcast. It might have been a Rams podcast, as I was kind of brushing up for tonight's show this afternoon. They're talking about how the early game on Saturday, that the NFL plans for that to be the least desirable to be watched. So they're like, oh, this is, that because the Panthers, and I think it must have been a Rams podcast, but look, is the Los Angeles Rams coming to Carolina. The Buffalo Bills are slated, the Saturday matchup, we'll just go through that. Rams, Panthers, Packers, Bears. I know that people want to be shitting on the Panthers. And I know too, from the outside and even from this side of the microphone, that to act like the Panthers, I want them to do well. To act like they're just going to go and reasonably be the favorite, or you know what I mean, there's
Right.
chances to win, but I just don't think you're like it was honest to say that they're the better team on the board in
No.
many of these matchups. I think arguably the Steelers, but that's they're a completely different conference. But I feel like the Packers are not what they were.
No, I mean, you talk about losing Parsons, and
Yeah.
I mean, I think Love is back, so that helps. I mean, I don't think Parsons was the difference maker between that Green Bay Packers team. It's what they were when we faced them versus what they are now, because they certainly have taken a step backwards. But I do think that they certainly slid backwards during that Love hiatus there for a bit.
Well, the Carolina Panthers, though, have beaten the Rams this year, and they have beaten the Packers. So nobody believes in the Carolina Panthers. It's like tonight's show. Nobody believes the Panthers can beat the Rams. Do you? Well, they have. So, and it is the NFL, and this is there is some good news about players coming back that we'll talk about in a moment. But on the other side is on Sunday, it looks like Bills, Jags, 49ers, Eagles. Not looks like it is. And Chargers, Patriots. Man, if a year ago, thinking about this being the matchup, Chargers, Patriots, I think the Patriots got blown out like 41 to something at the end of last season by the Chargers. And now they're number 2 seed. Monday night, you get Texans, Steelers. So good stuff here. I mean, or at least it's fun. And the good news for the Carolina Panthers is interesting stat right here. The Carolina Panthers, as 10-point underdogs, they're 10.5 point underdogs, have won both games this season.
Was that both the Packers and the Rams?
And the Rams, yeah, I believe
okay.
so.
I was making sure it wasn't the Cowboys.
Panthers.com has Darren Gant put up a story. Players aren't the first sub-500 team in playoffs in history as against them. And if you've been around for a minute, you would know Carolina is one of those teams twice in the playoffs with a losing record or sub-500. The 4 teams, though, since 1983 that have had sub-500 record, the Seattle Seahawks were 7-9. They beat the number 5 seed New Orleans Saints 41-36. That was 2010. 2014, 7-8-1. Carolina beat the 5 seed as well. 27-16. I think that was the year Carson Palmer got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And they had that backup quarterback in.
It wasn't just their backup. It was their third string, Ryan Lindley.
Yeah. And the last 2 have been losers. Washington was 7-9 in 2020. Tampa was 8-9 in 2022. So little stats and history on the side that the Carolina Panthers aren't completely out of it, but here's another good thing, CK, is that the Rams have not played particularly well over the last month. I mean, they've gotten by.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I put the 4 touchdown pass experience that Stafford had against the Cardinals as a significant part in the season for them.
They can't do it all in the fourth quarter or something like that.
I don't know.
Honestly,
it was.
But they weren't. I mean, the Cardinals have lost like something like 14 out of their last 15.
They have
struggled against.
They have had some weird moments where they look like they're one of the best teams in the NFL. They're at the beginning of the season with, Jacoby Brissett throwing some crazy numbers out there and what have you. But then, Earth hit them again, and they just, came right back down to it. So, yeah.
I mean, I think Stafford, though, has been a man on a mission. He's thrown 8 picks, 47 touchdowns, I believe 4,700 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
He set the record this season for the most consecutive touchdown passes without interception. And, I mean, look, the Panthers he had 2 interceptions when he came into Carolina. We got 2 on that day. I think he finished with 8. I mean, arguably, in many people's minds, hands down, the MVP, even though a lot of people want Drake May because he's a second-year player. It's just the volume and just how much. I mean, like and he's done it all with his arm. A lot of people believe that he is not only, and even Tom Brady said that. I mean, he is the MVP.
Yeah,
right? It's a tough uphill battle. We'd like to hear your thoughts on how the Carolina Panthers fare as they host the Los Angeles Rams. CK is, let me see. I guess some good news though. Right, we saw some parting. I guess Cody's internet is out right now. I forgot to mention that, guys, why he's not here. He'd probably be sad is that they waived Hunter Renfrow.
Yep.
But it was so they could activate Chandler Zavala and I guess Robert Hunt as well.
No.
It's David Moore.
David Moore, and if you go to the next screen, so we have these injuries, but maybe not the next one.
Nope.
I don't know. Here it is.
Yeah.
So Panthers activated David Renfrow and released David Moore and released Hunter Renfrow. So they released him, and they released. If you go to the next slide, it'll tell us. What is his name? Damani Richardson. Okay. Right now we have an open roster spot. And the only logical person to fill that roster spot is Robert Hunt.
Okay, who was a full participant in practice.
Yes.
They have the window.
This is a very good sign. If you are a Panthers fan looking at Robert Hunt as a possible solution to many of our woes, then this is a very positive look right now. I don't want to say we guarantee this, because nobody knows anything, but why in the world do you waive two people and there's just an open spot just sitting there with Robert Hunt possibly coming back into the fold after you've added David Moore back into the fold? I think that's interesting. Keep in mind too, and I think this is important because we're talking about injuries. When we played the Rams the first time, we did not have Wharton. We did not have, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't have Wharton. We didn't have J.C. Horn. We didn't have.
Oh yeah, our whole because we had Horn.
Roseboom was out.
We were missing. That was the whole reason that we thought that it was going to be complete blowout too.
We thought it was going to be a blowout. Yeah, and then Mike Jackson decided to have the game of his career.
Yeah.
And so the hope, if you're a Panthers fan right now, is that knowing that we're going to have J.C. Horn out there as well as Mike Jack, maybe there will be some things that go our way. But I think we're getting healthy when it needed to happen. And I am sorry to say, guys, I think David Moore is going to have a pretty major spot in this team because I don't know, to activate him. His connection with Bryce Young is undeniable. It's second only to Adam Thielen and now Tedero McMillan. But I think he's going to have a pretty big role in this offense come Saturday.
Let's see what speaking of injuries, Rams head coach Sean McVay on Monday said team expects safety Quentin Lake and wide receiver Devontae Adams to be back for Saturday's game. They did have Devontae in that game though that we played in the first time.
They did.
But man, that's not necessarily helpful for the Carolina Panthers. But more importantly, I mean, I think is that if you rather have Devontae Adams out or Robert Hunt out, like you could only pick one, I think I say, I'd rather play the damn Rams with Devontae Adams and us have Robert Hunt because we have not been able to get this run attack going consistently for a long time.
And
I don't know
if we do have a serious issue with pressure coming through the middle.
Yeah.
Like we do have a serious issue with that. The Seattle game was atrocious on the line. I think Robert Hunt is going to be an incredible asset. We were able to run a little bit against the Rams, But our where we really impacted them was through the air. If we can find a way to get that balanced attack again, dude, I have a lot of better of a chance against a team like the Rams if you can keep them off the field by having a run game.
So the Carolina Panthers are hosting a playoff game, fans. This is fun stuff and exciting in many ways. We're going to get into some calls right now. We're going to jump into a few calls, bounce around some material throughout the calls. I have 3 outcomes, though. Stick around, fans. We got 3 potential outcomes for this game. 2 are good. 1 is terrible. But thankfully, the Carolina Panthers are I gotta say, CK, as I was looking around and I was just kind of listening to some of the things I listened to, just poking around the internet today. Obviously, not even poking around, just opening up Twitter and stuff. I mean, the damn Baltimore Ravens fired Jim Harbaugh or John.
Isn't that wild?
Whatever Harbaugh it is, always get them mixed up. But they fired Harbaugh, and they were 1 kick away from the playoffs.
They were, but I think it's similar to the Bills situation with Sean McDermott. A lot of fans are like, if we don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, you've got to get somebody else in here because there's clearly some sort of a block when it comes to Sean McDermott getting them all the way home when they have a quarterback like Josh Allen. There should be no scenario where you haven't at least sniffed the playoffs or sniffed the Super Bowl. And I don't think they even made it to the NFC or AFC championships yet. So I think it's similar situation. It's like, even though we as Panthers fans, we would say they have no idea what it's like to be a bad football team to want to get rid of that coach.
I know. I mean, Super Bowl winner. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl winner. I mean, he's been.
They've perennially been in the playoffs. Lamar's been a 2-time MVP. Yeah, people didn't think Lamar was good.
Yeah,
I just don't think. To me, is maybe that's how their fans feel, or maybe that's how their front office feels. Their defense just didn't have it this year. That they haven't been that typical Ravens defense. I guess if you want to put that on Harbaugh, well, I guess what I was going to as well is that the Falcons, Raheem Morris out, Stefanski out. Who else is? The Raiders, Pete Carroll out.
Yep.
I'm probably missing
that one's understandable, but also kind of crazy.
Has the Cardinals coach gotten fired yet?
Yeah, he's Gannon.
He's out.
Yeah, he's out. It's Raheem Moore, Gannon, Harbaugh. It's Stefanski, Carroll. I think it was 6
about
total.
The Miami coach?
No, he's still there.
Wow, or for today. But yeah, I mean, and also you got the Titans looking for a coach.
Is anybody shocked that they actually fired the Raheem Morris?
I was a little.
I mean, only reason I was shocked was
2-year head coach, right?
He's the second-year head coach. I'm pretty sure. I mean, you might be right. It might be 3, but I think it's 2. I mean, it didn't feel like it's. Maybe it is 3. But I mean, they were this close to being. They were 1 play away from being in the Super Bowl themselves, or being in the playoffs themselves. And I'll be honest with you, if they made it to the playoffs, I think that the Falcons, right? The way they were playing at the end of the season, that's a hard team to beat right now.
Raheem Morris, 2-year head coach, 16 and 18 in 2 seasons with the Falcons.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but I was not. Maybe it shouldn't be. 4-game winning streak was enough. I think he was fired before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and I don't think he was told that. Right?
Yeah,
they lost to the Jets.
They
blown out by the
some
Panthers.
Bad ones. Yeah, they had some bad stuff.
I heard on a Falcons podcast that they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs like a month ago, which is wild. I mean, I don't know how that's possible given the fact that we all finished with the same damn record. But I mean, they acted like, I don't know if that's really true or if they were just kind of it felt like that. I guess just centering back, we'll get back to some of these larger NFL discussions, what it means for the Panthers going forward, the playoffs, and what we're going to be facing going. But it's so nice, CK, is even though is like I've have this, I'm happy that we're in the playoffs. I'm happy about the season in a sense. Is I'm not underwhelmed. I'm whelmed. I'm like it's not a disappointment to me. Even if the Carolina Panthers wouldn't have made the playoffs and say the Bucks were 10 and whatever, and they would have made it, I still finish them with 8 wins. Would not have felt like a complete loss. Would not felt like a loss.
Yeah.
And some of the and many of the strides, whether it be the defensive improvement, some of the things we've seen from rookies, from Nick Scorton to Ransom to who else do we got? Oh, I mean Tet or T-Mac.
Yeah.
These are all things that are heartening in ways that we haven't really had in the past as much in these going into. So
Agreed.
I would have been happy. But as I hear Harbaugh fired and I'm here, like I'm just so glad we're not dealing with that. And I don't think that we would have been firing Dave Canales, but like we have one more week at the very minimum before we got to start thinking free agency, before we got to start making these questions. And I think the reason I don't like the Ravens firing of Harbaugh, there's a lot of positions out there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if I want to be in this cycle. So many, maybe they're an attractive destination.
The Panthers?
No, I'm saying if I'm the Ravens, like, I mean, I almost would say like, let's just play it out one more year.
They're very attractive. I mean, when you talk about having the offense that they have right now, you're not having to go there wondering who your quarterback's going to be, whether or not they're a good quarterback. You know who you have in Lamar Jackson. He has a core group of players there on the offense. The biggest question mark, which is odd coming into the year because you thought that Ravens defense was going to be stout this year. That's been their biggest downfall. It feels like so.
Well, they're kind of living off their name a little bit more. They've traded away some players.
Yeah, but I mean, you remember they got they had Jair Alexander at the beginning of the year, who signed with them, who was supposed to be some massive addition to their raw. They ended up at one point halfway through the season inactive, and then decided to trade him or release him. I can't remember what it was. It was either a trade or a release. I think it was a trade to the Eagles, and then he went and said, "I'm going to take a hiatus from football," which is wild. I don't think that it was just their name at all. Last year, they were a very good team. And this year, I think they did only additions to that team, that defense. So I don't know what happened.
I mean, they're kind of aging in some different ways on that defense, and traded away a player that went to the Chargers. I forget his name, and he had 1 sack when he was with the Ravens.
Yeah,
and he had 7 sacks as he joined the Chargers. Like that defense is like has not been the dominant force it was. But I tell you this is, I don't want Harbaugh going to Atlanta.
No, you certainly don't. He's a special teams guy, though, right? Like,
but they always make great head coaches. If you think, we're not always, but Tom Coughlin, one of the greatest, is that he has done it so well for so long. It's not like Atlanta would get worse by adding Harbaugh.
Yeah. Does your head coach need to be a guru in either, or can he just be a good leader who knows how to,
knows all
get the most out of his people? Yeah. I could see the value in a special teams guy like Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh. I think that does worry me about him going to the Falcons, but nonetheless, Falcons right now are on their coaching search. We're on our playoff hunt.
That's the fun thing is we've got another week before. I mean, we're not dealing with those questions. I'm glad we're not dealing with those questions that season. It's also glad that we're not dealing with free agency right now. We've got another week.
Yeah.
Panthers are alive. They have an opportunity to keep pounding. We'd like to get your thoughts on the Carolina Panthers potential in upsetting the Rams at home, 10.5-point underdogs. Nobody believes the Panthers can beat the Rams. Do you? Let us know. The number's 252-228-5098.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Yo, what's going on, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte, man. Hope your boys are having a good Tuesday. I couldn't make the pop-in show. Was a little busy when Cody went live, but man, it feels good to be in that dance again, baby. I'm so happy. This is like, it's such a surreal moment. Just for the people on this panel, you guys, and all these fans and everything like we do on Twitter and all the hours logged into this stuff. It feels like we're finally getting rewarded this year, and I think that's the most important thing to me is like you can see where the light at the end of the tunnel is with this team and in this regime. We're still clamoring for that winning season, and honestly, there were a lot of games that there was opportunities for that. If we played, it was weird. This team was a roller coaster, right? I mean, we play up to competition, but down to competition. So there were like 3 games that probably could have been wins. At least one of them probably should have. I'd say 4. Oh, excuse me. That could have been wins, but man, I don't care. The playoff drought is over. Football's back in Charlotte. I'm going to the game. Like, it's been 10 years, man. So I want everyone to enjoy this weekend. Whatever happens. This was the second year of this regime. We weren't even really supposed to be in this position. I mean, guys, Tampa started the season 6-2. 6-2. I mean, we were 4-4 at that point, but it's like, man, you start 6-2. You're 2 games ahead. It's really hard to just fall off. So just so much joy, man. Mind you, it's 9:50, so I'm kind of like half asleep. But anyways, like
it was 9:50 in the morning because it's 9:47 now.
You guys owe it to yourselves to be happy as well, man. And Cody always talks about, is he the curse for the reason why this team hasn't made the playoffs? Because the year before he started was the last year we made it. Well, the curse is over, man. So I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy with this team's future and everything. Anthony from Charlotte, love y'all boys. Keep motherfucking pounding.
Anthony from Charlotte excited, but it also sounded like he was watching the Panthers offense. Ew. Ouch. Zing. Hey-o. I saw somebody in the comments say, is the Carolina Panthers defense has shown that they can go toe-to-toe with the best of the best. It's just about this offense and not being yawny.
No, I know.
Anthony from Charlotte was. CK, I was thinking about this, though. As you put up we put up the slide earlier about the tickets and it was the shirt. I've seen a lot of chatter among Panther fans about not selling their tickets. Is the Rams the base? Like, is a sought after? How important is this? Or tell us as a PSL owner yourself, what's going on as the stakes here as fans, as we stake our claim in something that hasn't happened in almost a decade.
Yeah. I think you're going to have a lot more people showing up that are Panthers fans. I'll tell you that much. We're lucky that it's the Rams, and that's not to say that I think that the Rams don't have a loyal fan base, but I can tell you what, they have a way. If it was the Packers, if it was the 49ers, any of the other wild card teams, any other divisional teams, our divisional winners, coming to Bank of America Stadium. They're going to travel a lot more than the Rams are. Excuse me. And I think that was evident in our game against the Rams. We did not think that we were going to win that game going into it, but we still outnumbered Rams fans, which is a wild thing, knowing that we were going into that about to get butchered. That's what we felt. We felt like we were going into that game to get destroyed. And so a lot of the fans showed up for that game. And I think that's a testament to the fact that I do not think that Rams fans travel as much as other more seasoned teams do. And I think that's probably because of the moving from city to city that they've had as of recently. So but I think that I think it's going to be packed out with Panthers fans. I really do. I think you're going to see a lot of people that show up with an excitement. And I think it might be one of the loudest games that we've had in Bank of America Stadium since that NFC Championship game against the Cardinals in 2015. And I mean that in no exaggeration. I think that's granted, that's the last playoff game we held in Bank of America Stadium anyway. But that could be an equivalent experience, especially if we can get off to a good start.
All right. The number is 252-228-5098. Let's get back to the calls. Let's go to the Hope Dealer.
CK, Tony Dunn, Cody Lack, the C3 Legion. What up, everybody? It's the Hope Dealer. Checking in real quick, playoff edition. So I mentioned in the post-game call the other day when I was super excited, I mentioned that I was going to bring up Brant Tillis on Tuesday. And let me just say, I've really had a chance to process this, and I would love to know you guys' thoughts. You know, do you think it's by coincidence, and this might be a rhetorical question, but is it by coincidence that Carolina, only a couple years after having Brant Tillis, is now in the playoffs, and a couple years of him leaving Kansas City, now Kansas City's not in the playoffs? I just find it interesting, the impact that Brant Tillis is having behind the scenes. He is an unsung hero. I don't want to take anything away from Dan Morgan. Trust me. Dan Morgan is that dude. He's the man. But I'm telling you, what Brant Tillis is doing with these contracts, y'all, is remarkable. And you look at how we have increased our win total while Kansas City has somehow, some way not made the playoffs this year, even with Patrick Mahomes. Give me y'all thoughts on that. Let me know the impact that y'all feel like Brant Tillis is having behind the scenes. Anyway, this is the Hope Dealer. Hey, let's get ready for playoff football this Saturday, baby. Let's go. Keep pounding.
Your thoughts, CK?
I hope that it's not just Brant Tillis. And the only reason I say that is if he's starting to get looked at for other jobs, I certainly don't want to feel like our team's going to take that much of a step backwards when that dude steps out of the position that he's in. I think, I'm never going to fault a guy for wanting to have his sights on something bigger than his current role. But I think that the Panthers need to be moving heaven and earth to make sure that he sticks around with the Panthers for as long as possible, because as much as this feels like we're succeeding, I think that to have pieces removed that we're building with, I think could be detrimental, because we are still, don't get it twisted, we're still in the middle of this build, right? This team is not yet complete. There are some things that, we can compete against anybody, but this team is not yet complete. And getting rid of a guy like that, I think, could be problematic for that continued build. I still have faith in Dan Morgan, but I think Brant Tillis absolutely is an important part of what we're building here, and I do not want to see him walk out the door.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't know what the rest of the league looks at it and how he is in player, like in scouting. I always just felt like that he was sold as the money man. And not necessarily like a guy that was building teams, but maybe he is. I like the idea of this is having a front office with Dan Morgan and a man who you get kind of like the football guy paired with the Moneyball type guy, and they could have this working relationship that's going further. I think, in good news, I think the Carolina Panthers have the most salary cap in the NFC South. It's like finally, it looks like the Panthers might have a little money to play with. I mean, I think they're sitting at like 39 million right now, and that there's still all of this stuff, because we've seen where they're like, oh, we've got 12 million in salary cap, and then somehow we're signing players. Hoping that 39 million turns into 65 million somehow.
That problem with that, Tony, is that we have to pay Icky in the offseason. You have to think about Sam Martin in the offseason. You have to think about what you're doing at linebacker if you want to keep Roseboom. You have to. There was somebody else.
Yeah, go get a pass rusher, man.
You really do. I mean,
I think that's what you do.
I think you need to. I think you need to put any extra money you have from free agency that you don't have to have earmarked for the draft. I think you make a big splash play for somebody on the edge.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning into the C3 Panthers Podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast. We're here every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, be a part of our community. You can call in at 252-228-5098. How are the Panthers faring? Do you believe? Nobody believes in the Carolina Panthers. Do you believe the Carolina Panthers can beat the Rams? 10.5 point underdogs, but 2-0 win double-digit dogs this season. Let's go. The Carolina Panthers have done it once. There are 3 scenarios. Stick around and find out. There are 3 scenarios that happen on this game on Saturday. 2 are good. 1 includes a win. 1 includes a loss, which is still good. But there's a 3rd scenario, which is not so good for the Carolina Panthers, our fan base going forward. Happy to be in the playoffs. Let's get a W. Let's not get that last scenario. Stick around and find out. I'll tell you what these 3 scenarios are. Let's go to the next call.
C3 Panther Nation, it is your boy Preston from Hickory. I'm just going to start off by just reiterating exactly what I said on Sunday after we became the NFC South champs. Again, congratulations. But shit just got real. Shit just got real. All right? I mean, this is I'm happy that we're NFC South champs, but now we're in the playoffs and we have a chance. You're in the tournament, you got a chance to go all the way. Ask the 07 Giants. Nobody could have predicted them motherfuckers beating the Patriots in that Super Bowl, right? So we got a chance. We've got to be smart, and this is a very young team. And I think what gives a lot of us cause to pause a little bit is the fact that, this is a young team, and this is a young coach and young play caller. And it gives us all, not all, but maybe, some of us that are not just elated that we're here, a little cause to pause to think, you know what, I'm a little nervous. I don't know if this guy, I swear to God, if he calls another fucking flea flicker in this game against the Rams and they talking about it's supposed to be rainy, the play calling has to be better.
Play one of the entire game. They just
I listened to the press conferences with Dave Canales and Bryce Young. I mean, you can talk it all day, Coach. We gotta see it. We gotta see it. I gotta see you ascending as a play caller, as a head coach and as a play caller. I need you to ascend. We need everybody to ascend because this is big boy ball now. This is big boy ball now. This is the playoffs. So we can't all just be happy to be here. Now it's time for 150,000% execution on both sides of all 3 phases. Because I'm gonna bet that the Rams are gonna be ready. Just a crazy thought, but I'm gonna bet that Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, that I'm gonna bet that those guys are gonna be ready to play ball. The Carolina Panthers better be racing. That's all I got, boys. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
I wanted to see. I'm trying to find it. I saw something like 67% of the Panther players have never played in a playoff game before.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the total number was 32. Maybe it was 29
of the players on the team.
Yeah, there was a press conference they were having with Dave Canales, and somebody asked it, said there was, I think it might have been, I don't know if it was over 30, it might have been 29. 29 of the players on your team have never been to the playoffs. Do you lean on the other part of the team, the people, because there's a handful of them that have rings, and have them talk about it? And Dave Canales talked about how he hadn't yet, but he's thinking about it.
And this is kind of one of the downfalls, I think, of having to play the Rams and us beating them earlier in the season. Like, it's good that we've shown that we can beat teams like this. But man, the Rams aren't going to be sleeping on the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, not this time. I'll tell you that much.
You're
not going to be worried about them underestimating us. They're not looking to next week to try to figure out who they're, because they don't know who they're facing next week, right? They're not.
Right.
They're not already preparing for whoever that's going to be. They're like, all right, we cannot overlook the Panthers. We're going to get their best. We did not get their best on that day.
No,
let's be real about it.
Yeah, so that, I guess that's the downfall of that. And then you have players on that team that have been so successful. We'll take another call this is fun. We'll do this after this call. Still 3 scenarios for this game to come later in the show, but after this call, we'll talk about the trajectory of these teams. Both of these teams were 11-5 in 2017 and made the playoffs. Both of these teams lost in the first round. The last 8 years have been a different trajectory for each of these organizations after that moment. The number's 252-228-5098. Here's John B. Jenkins' first call.
Hey guys, John B. Jenkins here, calling in to share something a little special I think everybody's going to appreciate. Just a little backstory. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this because it really wasn't that important, but I used to work for WRFX back
this is the one that he sent earlier.
And during the Super Bowl season. I started off as a unpaid intern working for Wilson, went by the name Pink Eye the intern. And then I worked on the promotions team, and I would, drive equipment out to whatever remote setup we were doing, set up all the microphones and the wires and the booth and the tent and everything. And then I'd connect to the broadcasting antenna, and, make sure we're connected to the radio. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I did a lot of work with the Panthers radio network crew. What was that guy's name? Bill, the original announcer, then Jim Zoki, and Eugene Robinson. Did a lot of work with those guys, and a lot of work with, like some bench players like Matt Willig, who was like a backup offensive tackle, and Vinny Church.
He was on the 2003 Super Bowl team.
When the Panthers made the playoffs and Jim and the crew were going out to St. Louis for the divisional round, I asked him, I said, hey man, if you guys win, can I have your media guide? Because there were these big books full of every single bit of information you could have. Remember, this was like right at the beginning of the internet. So it's not like you just search this stuff up. So they would put this stuff in this binded book with just a little bit of information on just about everything. There's like a whole section on the recaps of every game from the season, league statistics through December 29th of 2003. But the most important part of this artifact, I just pulled it out. I mean, I really haven't looked at this thing in like 20-something years, but I wanted to share it with you guys. I thought it was just cool that it was the media guide from the St. Louis Rams game. But y'all, it says Carolina at St. Louis, January 10th, 2004. We are fucking playing them on January 10th, 2026. Holy fucking shit, it is like destiny. That's really all I wanted to call and share. It is destiny. We are winning the fucking Super Bowl this year. That's all I got.
CK, you called it a month and a half ago.
Alternative football news with you. There's tons of it. I will share it with you after we win the fucking Super Bowl. That's all I got for right now. As always, Keep pounding Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding Panthers Law. Go Fish. Keep pounding C3 Panthers Podcast. Let's motherfucking go. This is John B. Jenkins out. I love you.
We love you, John B. Good. Is it coincidence? Is it destiny? Is it corollary? Is it causal? We'll find out. This is not a good destiny thing right here, CK. Is that the 2017 playoff? I had it pulled up. Where did it go? Got too many damn tabs open. 2017-18 playoffs. Carolina played New Orleans. We lost 31-26. Kind of a heartbreaker there. And Cam Newton really just 20 for 40, threw over 300 yards.
Yeah.
Ted Kinn Jr. screwed us. He was a Saint and caught a big pass, and James Bradbury couldn't make the tackle. Big play there. Carolina Panthers lose 5 seed to a 4 seed over the New Orleans Saints. Atlanta beat the Los Angeles Rams that year. 3 seed Rams, 6 seed Atlanta. Both teams were 11-5, CK, in that season.
Yeah.
2017, 11-5. This is the trajectory of the Los Angeles Rams, because I know we're more familiar with the Panthers one. The Rams went 11-5, 13-3, 9-7, 10-6, 12-5, 5-12, 10-7, 10-7, 12-5. Ouch. Or good for them. On the flip side of the coin, both teams 11-5, same year. Both teams bounced from the playoffs in that first round. The Panthers went 11-5 in 2017, then 7-9, 5-11, 5-11, 5-12, 7-10, 2-15, 5-12, 8-9. Now, can we turn the tide here against the Los Angeles Rams? It's a tough road to hoe. I'd rather be playing the Packers, to be honest. I mean, if we had the Packers at home, I'd feel better.
Right. I agree. It's it's something that they're limping into the playoffs right now, and I don't think the Rams are. Now, granted, at the end of the season, you lost to the Panthers and the Falcons, so I'm not sure that you're super thrilled about your team. If you're realizing that that's something that you were dealing with, especially a hobbled Panthers team and a Falcons team that had nothing to lose. Like, they were out of the play. Like, it wasn't like they were playing for anything of any meaningful things. Quite honestly, the only thing that happened is them winning hurt their chances, and it didn't even save Raheem Morris's job. So, which is it's still somewhat surprising to me. But I think if you're still not getting 100%, right? You're not getting it's not the same Rams team that we thought we were getting before we played them that week. I agree with that, but I still think that this team has so much positive to them. It is
better coach. Better coached, a Super Bowl MVP quarterback, a Super Bowl, but it's not, nobody's denying any of that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's good for the Panthers to feel, if Cody was here, you talk about how the Panthers always play best when nobody believes, or everybody counts them out. I don't think, I do think that is that the Panthers have nothing to do but lose, right? Is that they're playing with house money. But it would be naive or ridiculous to say that they're like the better team in a sense overall.
Right.
I mean, it was just you look at the head coach. Any given Sunday, though, can give you this and the Panthers have shown some fight in them. You just don't know what you're going to get on offense. In that case,
what are the ticket prices going for right now? Do we know?
What's that?
What are the ticket prices for right now?
On the exchange, that's a great question. I think it's interesting too, though, as you hear the chatter from outside fans and analysts, right? As I listen to a few Rams podcasts, and how easy it is to shit on the Panthers, on the NFC South, and talk about how the Panthers are, is that they're a bad team. And I've heard other analysts, or maybe I think it was, just teams or people talking about like how the Falcons are the best team right now in the division. They didn't make it, stuff like this. I thought it was there is some irony though, as I was listening to this Rams podcast. I forget which one of the three I was listening to today, and they were making such a case for Matthew Stafford being the clear head and shoulders MVP over Drake May. And one of the things they kept highlighting is that the Patriots didn't play anybody this year. That the Rams had this schedule that Matthew Stafford threw like 20 touchdowns against 10 win teams. But in one hand, they're shitting on the NFC South, or one side of their mouth. They're talking about how it's a joke, as nobody's good and this and that. And on the other, and the same side of the mouth, they're talking about how Drake May hasn't played anybody. But on the other side of the mouth, that they have to forget that they lost to both the Falcons and the Panthers,
who they would probably say is nobody.
Right.
That we're the same nobodies that Drake May played, that he beat both of us. And the Rams didn't, so I mean,
it's easy to overlook evidence when you want it, when it doesn't fit your narrative, right?
It is. Now the tickets right now, honestly, I'm slightly concerned about the number of tickets that are available right now. Like every single section has over 100 tickets available. There's a few that have only 44, but the nosebleeds on the 50-yard line on the Panthers side are 220 a piece and above. There's nothing under 220. There's one that's not on the 50 that's towards the end zone. Those get to be 184.
Ticket price?
The cheapest. The cheapest ticket price is $182.07 per ticket.
This is inflation, folks.
And this is that's row 34, by the way.
I don't think I paid that much to go to the NFC Championship. I think I paid maybe 200, maybe somewhere in there.
And by the way, when I say road 34, that's as high up as you can get. Like that's not like all those are already taken. You're getting the ones, because that's still the highest up that you could possibly get. It's wild.
Somebody said Tepflation. I don't even think it's that. I think just shit is so expensive. I went and mailed. I sold a T-shirt. It wasn't for the podcast. It was just like a vintage T-shirt today. I sold it on eBay. Been sitting. I was supposed to mail it a week ago. I went to the post office and mailed a T-shirt. It was $10, dude. The cheapest rate. Dude, the lady said, "Oh, we're still on holiday prices." I said, "What?" I was like, "Oh, old Christmas. When's that? Like when? $10." But I mean, that's some real. I mean, I know it's a playoff game.
It's a playoff game. You're right, and you got to keep in mind it's the most exciting game that's been played in Bank of America Stadium for 10 years. And that's no exaggeration. Like we've been in the playoffs one time, and that was 2017. But we were the wild card. We did not have a home playoff game that year.
What's that price cost for a PSL holder? You have to buy the playoff ticket. It's required.
Yeah, $70 a piece.
So people are tripling it almost.
Yeah. I mean, which again, they do what they got to do, I suppose. Though the cheap,
if there's that many for sale, CK, if we waited to the end of the bell, are they going to come down? Are they going to go up?
There's two possible outcomes. There's they go down. Or they don't exist anymore.
So they get bought up.
Yeah, they get bought up. Which I think is a more likely, which I'm not one to put I am not one to wait to the last minute to buy a ticket to something that I'm interested in going to see, because I am deathly afraid of being in that situation where I go to get a hotel and all that stuff. And then that day I just can't find anything cheap and I have to end up spending triple the amount. So I usually just buy early.
Man, oh man. We'll talk about this. Is one more call, and I'll tell you the 3 outcomes coming for the potentially for this game. Maybe you guys can tell me a 4th outcome that I haven't thought of. But I got 3 major things that can happen for the Carolina Panthers. I guess you could know one of them that could be a stunner. The number's 252-228-5098.
What's going on, C3? Hope everybody is having an awesome Tuesday night. Been listening in, haven't talked to you guys in a while. Man, I'll tell you what, I was so pissed off losing to Tampa Bay, and I didn't care which way we went in. I understand every method of looking at it, but man, I have been watching the fucking Carolina Panthers forever. And every year I watch the playoffs. And for the last 10 years, I've been saying, man, it's going to be so awesome watching the playoffs next year when the Panthers might make it. So I don't care how we got in. I don't care that we're 10, 11-point underdogs. Man, I hope that bank is rocking. You'll feel the love from Idaho. Just so happy. I did want to say I don't have any social media to reach out to you or Cody, Tony, or CK. If you guys can do me a favor and help Charlotte know to run the motherfucking football, man, that's our only chance.
Well, we need Robert Hunt.
You just have to run between the tackles. You can run a jet sweep. You can run a pitch. Don't just try 13 times and get 42 yards and give up running. You got to run the ball. It's tough to beat a bad team twice in the NFL, no less a great team twice. Got to run the ball. Love you guys. Love you, C3. Chuck from Elizabeth City. Stay away from my grandma.
Holy moly. All right. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. The running the football for the Carolina Panthers was so critical to their early success, and really was critical for Bryce Young to become to kind of step into the player he kind of became down the stretch, or the moments that he was able to become a much stronger quarterback or put up some of these games. Bryce Young has had some games where he has been able to overcome, or at least be viable, right? I mean, if you think about this last game, is like he was throwing some dots and making some really great plays. But when running the ball is going to be paramount for Carolina to balance the game in a way that Bryce Young, who has been remarkably successful in play action this season, right, is like he has had a very high success rate in play action passing. The Panthers' bread and butter you have to win the trenches. One way to keep Matthew Stafford from throwing 72 touchdowns or whatever is to keep him off the field. You know, it's so important for Carolina to run the ball. But CK, one of the scarier things I was thinking about is why I thought about Matthew Stafford, I think he wants to go by, but being a MVP candidate, 47 passing touchdowns. We know who Matt Stafford is.
Mm-hmm.
We know who these guys are. This defense has made some real plays at some times. But you know the thing I'm most scared about is the fucking Rams running the ball on us. So I think that establishing the trenches, particularly on offense, finding a way to churn and produce some offense, to not be a yawny, sleepy offense that's been every other week. And maybe there has to be a positive. You cannot be just what they have been, which is washed out in the run. It might not have to be a 200-yard running game, but they have to be effective on the ground to then make this offense be a little bit more dynamic or positive. But the Carolina Panthers, they know Matt Stafford is great. We know he's great. This passing attack it's gonna get theirs sometimes. But if they're running the ball on the Carolina Panthers, Matt Stafford will have his way.
Right. Yeah, if they get, you're 100% right. I mean, the moment that we have to bring, fill the box up and we have to leave somebody out on the island with Puka Nacua, that dude's going to eat us alive. And no matter what his age is, Matt Stafford has a cannon of an arm. That dude can get the ball down the field, and he's pinpoint accurate. Like, I don't know. It makes me mad. It makes me mad because I want that in my quarterback so much.
He's big,
and
too.
He's big. He's got just like he's intelligent. Nice. Yeah, he's nice. Listen, he comes from adversity with regard to how things have been in Detroit for the majority of his career before he got traded to the Rams. I love what the dude's about, but man, it makes me so angry because I'm just like, I want that. I need that type of a quarterback in Carolina. And I just sincerely, I mean, I believe Bryce Young can be a guy, but I just, it does worry me that we aren't going to be able to have sustainable success with Bryce Young at the helm.
Matt Stafford, what a narrative that's changed for him, though. Is not a narrative that's changed. I have a friend of mine, Jarrett, and Matt Stafford he's a Raiders fan, though.
Yeah.
But Matt Stafford is his favorite quarterback. And he is he's been in his mid-20s, this kid.
Yeah.
Late 20s. And this is a guy he's seen for 15, 16 years. And I thought it was just real. I think it's not is nice or heartening. Like when you see these guys' storylines, the narratives.
Yeah.
Go back for somebody. We'll talk about Cam in a second, but like what they mean to people, to fans, the trajectory of their careers. And you're right, he did face adversity with those Lions teams, but he got them to the playoffs once. He had some prolific seasons with them, kind of got them in a place that could potentially propel them a little bit, or propel them to where they were. That Jared Goff, him and traded, like it just worked out for everybody. It's just really cool. I mean, it's really neat. I mean, what a career and storied career to one that has just only grown to where the time in Detroit doesn't seem like a stain on his legacy, but an accolade in retrospect, CK, I said there were 3 outcomes for this game that I could see happening.
Yeah.
Or it's not outcomes, but scenarios. There's the stunner, number 1. The stunner. Just like Carolina stunned the Rams, maybe 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. The number 1 team. You got everybody saying this is like the Rams are happy that they're playing the Panthers in this round rather than trying to have a higher seed and playing somebody like Seattle or Green Bay or the 49ers, something like into that fact. I guess Seattle would have the bye. So, is the title of the show is nobody believes the Panthers can beat the Rams. Do you? And there is an any given Sunday component to the NFL, or to any sport, and to a degree. These are professional athletes. The Panthers did not just sleepwalk to this moment. They fought, they clawed. Were there times that we believed that they could have been much more, that we wanted it to be more? Do we wish it was more? Do I wish I was walking into this game thumping my chest more? Certainly. Am I just happy to be at this party, or do I deserve to be at this party? But the Carolina Panthers could stun. Bryce Young could come out, have a game. Panthers defense could create havoc, and somehow they eke out a win like they did in that first game. That's the first scenario. The most absolute best scenario for people too. There has been a discussion, and Cody's not here to be able to this, it's like he didn't want to back in. And I think some people maybe misread it as like he said, I'm not rooting for the Falcons. Right. It's like, and some of that was, and I think we tried to work through some of these ideas on the show, is that's why we're rooting for the Panthers to beat Tampa. Right. So we don't have this defeatist mentality of already thinking that you're going to lose against Tampa and that you need Atlanta and you're still a chance and this and that. But the Carolina Panthers could come out, get this home game somehow on this day of destiny, like John B. Jenkins said, and stun it. That's the first scenario, the best, the most absolute wonderful scenario for the Panthers, for their fans. There's the second scenario. So good. I'll give you two good scenarios. The second is the statement. The Carolina Panthers come out. They're 10-point dogs. They're playing a team that's going to go. That is in some ways, it was better coached. Just not better coached, but yes, better coached, more storied. These players, they're 10-point favorites for a reason. The Carolina Panthers come out against a team, against a better opponent, and they punch, and they punch, and they fight. They might not win, but they lose by 8. I mean, not 8, but they lose by 7.
A field
they
goal. One possession game.
Even 10. Even if it comes down and you're fighting a little bit, or not a little bit, all the way.
Like it comes down to the final half of the fourth quarter. It's not like, like when we think about that Seattle game, right? It felt a lot worse because the score was 27-10. Right. But it wasn't 27-10 at the midway through the fourth quarter. It became 27-10 because we weren't able to convert a fourth down, and it basically gave them a touchdown, and then they were able to get a field goal and all that stuff. So yeah, I know what you're saying.
Bryce Young looks good or better. Right. The team seems prepared. They seem to have fight in them. Right. You walk out of that game, you go, damn. I mean, we wanted a winning season. We progressed, though, from 6 wins to 8 wins.
Yeah.
A second-year coach got better, or at least the team got better under his leadership. Mm-hmm. If you want to quibble about play calling or whatever it may be. You could talk about Bryce Young and how the adversity he's gone through and how it's just chiseled him into an improved player. All of these, 2 great scenarios. The third scenario, though, is one that I don't want for this podcast and for my soul. And that is what I'll call the Crossroads. And that's the Rams beat the damn brakes off the Carolina Panthers. And it just opens up questions about Bryce Young, about Dave Canales. And our calls are flooded. Our thoughts and hearts and prayers are not. It's that
we're not gonna
somehow this season, with all of the good CK that comes out of it, in a moment becomes uncertainty.
Right.
Those are the 3 scenarios I have for this game.
Yeah. I mean, that the fourth would be that we're just incredibly mad because the referees again screw us out of a potential win. That part is a tough pill to swallow because there's nothing you can do about it, and it feels like your heart gets ripped out in a situation like that. But the problem with the blowout is I don't think it matters if you win the NFC South if you get blown out in the wild card weekend. And the reason I say that is we weren't going in as like 11 win team that deserved to be there and all that stuff, right? We're going in there with a losing record, and no matter whether we won the NFC South or not, while it was progress, it's still going to raise the exact same questions losing to Tampa Bay and Seattle Seahawks did in the regular season. None of those questions, because you got to keep in mind, we backed into the playoffs,
right?
Like we did not make the most of our opportunities to make the playoffs happen for us. So nothing that happens in the playoffs, like if we go out there and we just put up a stinker, like there is no, well, at least you were NFC South champs. That is not a thing.
It doesn't matter. None of that matters at all.
No, it wouldn't. And that's what I said at the beginning of the show. We have to, it cannot be out of those 3 scenarios, Tony, it cannot be the third one that you just listed there.
And if it is, CK, it has to be somehow, in some way, in my heart, I need this to happen. If somehow the Carolina Panthers get blown out, Bryce Young still has a good game somehow. Wait, I don't know how you get blown out and your quarterback has a great game somehow.
Yeah.
But this is a moment, as everybody said, oh, you want to make the playoffs. You want to do this. You want to do that. Like, you need this. I want this season similar to how last season did a little bit.
Yeah.
The back end, regardless of the outcomes of the scores or the record, the team walked in, players, front office, fans, walked in to 2025 with the belief that tomorrow could be better. I don't want this game to erase the gains that have truly happened this season.
Yeah.
And it can. That's how this world works, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do risk that. I mean, you got to, we came into this season with a little more optimism because of where this team had progressed towards the end of last season. I'll tell you what, the Panthers are not the team going into this offseason with optimism if we were to get blown out in the wild card. I'll tell you the team going into the offseason with optimism. Oh, dude, you might as well not even do the post game. We'll just come on and be like, it sucked. You guys have a good night.
I mean, you're starting to worry. Is like Dave Canales going to have a job?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree that he'd probably be back. I don't think that really is going to be a concern, but I think you really start to question, especially if it has to do with Bryce Young not being able to get something going. This defense, obviously, we're starting to really question. All right, what defensive coordinator are we getting in here to be able to turn this defense around? Because it's that part I think is going to be a question mark. But I think the real question mark is going to be how Bryce performed in that blowout, if there is in fact a blowout. Because I don't think that if he doesn't perform well, I think there's a very good chance that there's competition in the quarterback room next year.
If you lose by 20, CK,
mm-hmm.
There's two ways you could lose by 20, or multiple ways, but you can lose where the Rams just as Stafford MVP, it's 41-21, or 40-21. I can handle that. If this is 20-0, though, and I know you were just like, oh, well, we're going to be like new defensive coordinator. But if we're walking up into this damn post game again and saying, oh, well, the defense held them to 20.
Oh, I don't care.
That's two different ways of losing by 20.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a 45-year-old man and sleeping with a 35-year-old woman and being a 25-year-old man and sleeping with a 15-year-old woman. There are different there's still 10 years. We don't need this offense to get blank, dude.
No, we don't need the offense to get blanked, but we also need I think that honestly, I don't even know even if we make we win this game and the defense looks all right, and then we win the next game, and heck, we make it all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm still not convinced Devereaux's going to be back as the defensive coordinator. Like I'm still not convinced.
I said, oh, Duke Thunders, you funny. He said a 15-year-old. I said a 15-year-old woman. I guess he found the wordsmith. I love words, and you got me. The point being is not all 10-point differentials are the same. And if this team comes out and just, to me, I'm not worried. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I just don't want that outcome, CK. I want to walk into this season, to be honest, I want to walk out of this game, win, lose, or draw, saying, you know what, let's get like Canales, man, more time under his belt. Get this guy. He's going to grow. And the same for Bryce Young. I don't want to walk into next season with more doubt. I want to walk out of this game with more confidence.
In what world do you and I both know the conversation over the offseason, if this isn't a good game, is going to be, is Dave Canales on the hot seat?
Oh, yes.
Like, not.
And what if it's not a good game for Bryce too? The same.
Yeah. all the same stuff. But the Dave Canales one, like the Bryce Young stuff, like Bryce, if he has a really bad game, there's a chance he's not our starter at the beginning of the season next year, right? Like, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I mean, there's a chance that they do a competition of some sort. Nobody wants that. Like,
I don't know if I can, how much I can handle of it.
Yeah, but that's the issue. Is like mental health wise, are you ready to be prepared to try to go through the franchise search again? But I think the thing I don't want to be dealing with going into next season is, what does Dave Canales have to do to keep his job? That I don't want those conversations. And if we can be competitive in the NFC or in this playoffs, I think we can eliminate those questions during the offseason, and we can focus on how is this team going to be better, not just what replacements do you see coming potentially for Dave Canales if he isn't able to pull it together in year 3.
3 outcomes for this game: the stunner, the statement, the crossroads. What do you guys think is going to happen? Let's go to the next call.
Hey guys, it's the crowd somehow, aka Joey the Blind Panther. 2 days later, I still have to do a double take that I'm awake and the Panthers are in the playoffs, because sometimes I don't believe that both things are true, but they are. And not only are we in the playoffs, but we have a home playoff game at the bank. And I suspect that there will be fans spying on each other. Tears of joy, of course. And I also believe, I was thinking about this at work today, is even if we don't win this playoff game, which, come on, we're running house money for a reason, folks. The Rams, Matt Stafford had 4,707 yards this season. It's insane. It's ridiculous. And also their defense is great too. It's weird that they didn't make the number 1 seed. I think we had something to do with that, actually. But even considering that, it is so good for the Panthers to be in the playoffs, especially for guys like Bryce Young and even Dave Canales and Dan Morgan to an extent, because all they know is losing. And for them to be able to see that the playoffs are like something that they can actually aspire to is really important, because the playoffs, it's like, if there's ever a place that you like really wanted to go to, like for me it was New York City. I was like, we know the city's real. We know, we have undisputable evidence that it is real, but sometimes is that a place I can actually go? Like, could I actually be there? And I think it'll do a world of wonders for everybody to play in a playoff game, just to show that, hey, we can do this thing again. If we come back better, we can do this. Anyway, guys. Wow.
Thanks, Joey, for the call. CK brings a thought.
Wow.
Oh, he did a double take. How about that? The real AP, my man, did a double take on his double growl. This side discussion here is, I had a friend of mine. He said, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe, like, we were having one of those late, drinking, hanging out. It was like ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts? I think it was ghosts. And I was like, no, I don't believe in ghosts. And I think part of it is because I don't want to believe in ghosts, which I probably actually do, because I believe in angels and stuff like that. Right. But he was like, why not? And I was like, well, all the evidence out there for me is like, they really exist. I felt like I would have bumped into one by now. Yeah. It's just like, if this is, and I've heard some freaky stories from people I really not respect, but yeah, respect is like, oh, that is just like, that is like freaky about haunted stuff, particularly Beaufort, North Carolina and stuff. But I was like, no, I was like, haven't seen one, man. Kind of like from the Show Me State. And he said, well, have you ever seen China? I said, no. He said, do you believe in China? I said, no.
I'm not gonna get caught in this trap.
No, I was like, well, I guess China doesn't exist then. So I don't know if New York exists or not. Joey, let's go to the next call.
What's up, y'all? It's Lucas from Far City. We're in, baby. We got invited to the dance. Keep pounding, baby. I can't wait. I just wanted to call in and let y'all know Brant Tillis got interviewed for the Atlanta Falcons president job. Correct me if it's a different job, but I'm pretty sure it's the president job. Out of all the 32 jobs, 32 teams in the NFL, he's going interviewing for our division rival, Atlanta. If I'm David Tepper, Dan Morgan, I'm trying to get him out of Carolina as soon as possible. We don't want him to know too much and go use it against us.
He already knows everything.
Keep pounding. Let's get Brent Tillis the hell out of Carolina.
He's written in these weird, like, little clauses in the players' contracts. It says, if I leave, you leave with me.
I heard that because of the Rooney Rule, they had to open up these, they have to do the interview cycle.
Yeah.
But from what all rumors I've heard is that Matt Ryan is slated to take that position.
As the president or the head coach?
President of football.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a wild take. What?
Well, no, I mean, like former.
I know, but
Falcon
he's
great analyst, this and like smart person.
Yeah,
shit
but I
his
mean,
pants, like that on the field. But that's what I've heard is that all indications that job is being carved out for him.
I mean, that'd be interesting, but at the same time, I think it's all like that just would tell me that it's not a real job. Like what has he done that justifies him being a president? Like I could see you putting him in a low level position.
Done?
I mean, you look at Brant Tillis, he's working his way up the ladder, right? And doing that job.
Well, yeah, I mean, like assistant. Yeah, I mean, I guess is like his.
I mean, Dan Morgan had to work his way up. Like he started out as a scout, then he became an assistant, then he became an assistant GM, and then he became our GM.
How many CEOs though from is that have nothing to do with like aerospace or something that you bring in and you just bring in somebody?
But they have experience of some sort typically. Like to be a business, like what I mean is like you it's rare that you're going to see a guy go into the CEO role without having previous work experience that has to do with that specific role.
Operational management in a sense, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, we do know that this is a nepotistic business. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I was just listening to Daniel Jeremiah's around, like podcast, and that's what I heard. So, all right, let's go to the next call.
What's going on, C3, Tony, CK? How y'all doing tonight? It's CPG from the 704. Besides Tony and C3, one of the longest running Panthers channels on YouTube. Come check me out at Carolina Panthers, guy. Anyways, I just wanted to say, Tony, you were very close to being right about the 03 Panthers. We beat the Cowboys in the wild card at home, and we went on the road to beat the Rams in double overtime in the divisional round and beat Philly by one possession in the NFC Championship up in Philly.
Cowboys, Rams
came from when we were going to play the Cowboys in that playoff game in the wild card round. But outside of that, man, you were pretty right about all that. Outside of that, Panther Nation, I hope to see y'all out there this Saturday, Bank of America Stadium. Don't let me see a Rams jersey in that crowd. We're going to be loud. We're going to yell, keep pounding. We're going to beat the Rams. Playoff football's back in Charlotte. Playoff football's back in the Carolinas. Keep pounding. Shout out to Tony, CK, C3, Cody, everybody. Appreciate y'all for having me on here.
Thank you, man.
Keep pounding, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Go support go support the channel. All rising tide lifts all boats. So division winners play Dallas, then move on to the Rams. Stun the Rams with that big Steve Smith catch. What was it? Overtime or right at I think he had just mentioned it. I think it was overtime, man.
Double overtime.
Double
against
overtime,
the Rams. Yep.
And then I just read I just trying to think of the memories, and I know that Steve Smith memory is like flashbulb to people. To me, like it was that Deshaun Foster run against the Eagles where he ran 40 yards and 5 yards and shed 5 tackles. Just the grit and the determination. I love that. I think it was, who was the nickel corner? Wasn't, and it's not Mike Minner. He was strong safety. There's a nickel corner that had like 5 picks in that playoff season, like in that playoff run.
Right.
That was incredible. And then just think of, man, what a snooze. You got the Panthers in the Super Bowl. So exciting. Particularly, too, as a Panther fan who had just become a Panther fan in so many ways when Julius Peppers came around. Was that 01? Ricky Manning Jr., thank you. Ricky Manning Jr. just fucking slayed that postseason.
Oh, dude.
Maybe that season had all together. It was so much, but it was, I mean, it was just long shot after long shot. You're knocking out heavyweight. I mean, maybe the Rams
but
old
that
heavyweight.
defense though.
Oh, so good.
Like that's the part about it that like, it's like, that's where I feel like we're talking about 2 separate teams between what that team was and what this team is. Like that team, while it was not a complete team, they were going up against heavyweights. Don't get me wrong, but they had a defense that people were afraid of. And Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith were becoming a real threat to people. Like it was real. And Deshaun Foster.
There was, and speaking of, now that we're just like in nostalgia moments for that, when you talk about that defense, because I loved Peppers so much, and that's why I became a Panthers fan. I was become a Panthers fan. I said, man, I was just getting into football. I was like, all right, I'm gonna root for the team that's here. And I love Julius Peppers because he's from Bailey, which is 35 minutes from where I live at. I decided I'm gonna root for this guy wherever he goes. Not gonna be a fan of that team, but it dovetailed into the Carolina Panthers. 2 years later, you're at the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure that was the season, and this is arguably one of my most top 5 favorite games. And we'll do this. This will be a great off-season discussion when we're trying to avoid the 107th linebacker prospect, CK.
Yeah,
for us as we dread that coming. But favorite games in history and least favorite games, but this is definitely a top 5, if not a top 3 for me. Is the Carolina Panthers, and what was the score? Gosh, I should have like 8 years ago. I remember this as we're doing. We beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We had 3. It was either 3 blocked field goals and 2 blocked extra points. We blocked the extra point to ultimately win the game. It was before the offense started to get its groove.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense just smothered them in like a 13-12 victory or something like that. But it was amazing. But those flashbulb memories of those games from the Deshaun Foster run is mine. But that, you had 2 big touchdowns, one from Steve Smith, I think, and that Muhammad in that second half of the Super Bowl. It was kind of
that was wild.
First half, and you're like,
that Muhammad one was it still stands as the longest play in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Shout out to DSGR Row DS Grow 88. I guess is how we would say it. And this man is on his Panthers history, 12-9. That's exactly what the score was. This game, Chris Jenkins, by the way, you want to talk about a man among men, one of the greatest defensive tackles in the history of football. Let me see. Was this the... All right, let's go to the next call. Let's just fire through some of these calls. We're almost done.
What's up, guys? The CPG, aka Carolina Panthers guy again. Y'all was talking and made me think about this. Everybody's trying to make an uproar over the playoff seeding and should division winners get a home playoff game. What everybody needs to be in an uproar about is the fact that Brad Allen, the head official for that Buccaneers game we had in Week 18, who clearly and blatantly cheated to help Tampa, he's calling the Jaguars and Bills game in the playoffs. This is what all of us as NFL fans across all 32 teams should be mad about. Why is the NFL rewarding corrupt refs like Clete Blakeman and Brad Allen and letting them call playoff games? Boy, several of our teams are going to get screwed over in the playoffs because they have some of the most corrupt refs calling playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just warning everybody now. That's what y'all should be mad about. The only people mad about the division thing are people like Rams fans who are just salty they didn't win their fucking division. And now they got to come to Carolina and they know it's going to be loud because they already dealt with it. Everybody's just mad at us. Either they're laughing at us when we suck or when we finally do good, they blame us because their team sucks. Think about it. Keep down.
Shout out to the real AP giving us the inside info. So this is from Facebook. Tracy Beatles Richardson 34 minutes ago on Facebook. So proud of my brother, full of integrity, humbleness, and dedication. Love you, Greg. Greg Beatles named president of the Atlanta Falcons. Beatles will oversee all aspects of business and operation, organization, collaboration closely with. Over the past decade, he's diligently served throughout the organization and has made an impact. Is this an internal? This might be an internal move. They Rooney ruled it already.
Interesting.
But okay.
But to the point, yeah, I mean, CPG was talking about was, I mean, it's relevant. I agree. I think that's kind of a wild take to, from my understanding, the playoffs were always kind of held to be given to the team, to the officials that were the best in the league that year. And I don't know. I just feel like that Tampa Bay game should have been taken into consideration before assigning them to the Panthers or to any other team in the playoffs, which I think you said is the Jags and Bills game.
So let's take like the two coolest fucking teams.
Yeah.
Right now in the NFL, and the Jags and well, maybe not the two, but the Jags are a cool story. How about that? A rookie head coach, CK.
Dude, you think it's the only one?
Well, not the only one, but I mean, think about this. Didn't he come from Tampa too?
Dude, think about this.
Is he like Dave Canales cooler?
Yeah, well, that's what Tampa's mad about is they lost Dave Canales, who had their offense somewhat relevant, and then they go to what's his face that went down to Jacksonville, Cohen, I think is his name, Liam Cohen. They're like, movies. And then they're like, yeah, then he goes, then they've just taken a step in the wrong direction, and they're like, it's hard to replace two offensive coordinators 2 years in a row, and hope it's think it's going to work out. But keep this in mind. You have Ben Johnson in Chicago. You have Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. You have McDonald in Seattle. Or was this his second year?
No, this is his second year, but both years they've fucking been trending in the right direction. Look, he had they had Geno cooking. Look, and Geno is a bum this year in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They hit that's the guy right there that makes you all want a defensive coach back. That coach right there. The number is 252-228-5098. Last opportunity. Couple calls left.
C3, what up? Preston from Hickory. I don't know which one of my calls is going to play. It might not even be this one. But, you know, I will say that seeing the odds and seeing that literally, like, nobody believes in us, I think I forget how much of an underdog we are. For some reason, that makes me even more hyped, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've been nervous, especially knowing as the Rams. It's very hard. Yeah, we beat them. It's very hard to beat a team twice. I will say, the odds, that makes me more hyped. Like, I like us as an underdog. I love it when we're the underdog. Hell, we played our best football as an underdog. Hell, we played our best football as an underdog against the same team. Again, pause, because it's, once again, one of the best teams in the league, an MVP candidate, and it is very, very, very hard to beat a team twice. Unless you're the New Orleans Saints and you're playing the Carolina Panthers. But I'm telling you what, I like those odds. I like us being an underdog. I think the team likes being underdog. But man, I'm not making a prediction on this game. I just know I'm riding with my boys, and man, we gotta do something, man. It's been so fucking long. Let's go win one. We only got one home playoff game. One home playoff game. We gotta show out.
Basically,
we gotta show out and represent. Man, Dave Canales, Bryce Young. I mean, everybody, the entire defense, the Gerald Rivera, we need y'all to actually execute and make something happen and represent for the 704, for South Carolina, for the whole Carolinas, yo. You got to show out because nobody believes in us. You got to represent.
Yeah.
Let's go get this dub. Let's go get this fucking dub. Let's go, baby. Keep pounding.
Appreciate the call, man. Let's go to the next one.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, C-Dog 1983 TV. Whenever you come in here, can you please hit the like button? Can you please subscribe to the great content? The C3 Podcast is the longest running Panthers podcast on YouTube. But they go live every Tuesday. They got the free for all every Friday, and they got a game recap after every game. It will be a game recap after this Saturday. But happy Tuesday. I hope everybody have a great week. And let's just get ready for this game, man. I can't really say I'm too excited for this game. I mean, it's been a long time since we had a playoff game, a home playoff game at that, in a long time since we won the division. But I just really can't get up. I can't get excited like I used to, man. Cause I mean, Bryce Young is the quarterback. You know, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you. And Dave Canales going forward, don't need to be calling no damn play. Dave Canales need to give up fucking play calling next season. You know, if Dave Canales don't want to give up play calling, he can fucking go. But I'm just gonna wait and see what we're gonna do Saturday, man. You know, cause I'm not too confident in Dave got them going out here and out coaching Sean McVay in the playoff game. Yeah, regular season we beat them, but it's fucking playoffs, you know. But we'll see, man. I mean, I don't know. Man. I don't want to come in here and be no Debbie Downer, man. You know, I'm just happy we got a game to watch Saturday, you know. But it's not like it used to be. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, man, when we had Cam Newton, man, anytime we go to the playoffs, man, I didn't mind spending that money, man. You know, it was just a different feeling when Cam was here, man, in that stadium. You know, especially playoffs. You know, man, I was at the game that year we went to the Super Bowl, that year we beat the Cardinals, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, that shit was.
It's the greatest football experience I've ever. Greatest sporting experience I've ever been at.
You know, like that shit right there, man. Oh, I feel bad for my nephew, man. He never seen us have a winning season, man. You know. But anyways, man. The C3 Podcast is the longest running Panthers podcast on YouTube. Whenever you come in here, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the great content. You know what I'm saying? They always do a great job. They're always consistent. You know, they always go live every Tuesday, every Friday. You know, they should have more followers or more of a follower, you know, on any
Thank you,
platform.
C-Dog.
You can share this
It's a
on
brand
Facebook,
ambassador.
Instagram, Twitch, or whatever, you know, share it, you know. But I'm just happy to be able to call in here and for this therapy session for the C3 podcast, man. And everybody have a great day and keep fucking pounding.
It's a positive day in the therapy session right now. We've made progress. Is like we're sitting down with our counselors, we're sitting down with our therapists, and we're saying, look, is like, hey, we're seeing gains. We're seeing gains. C-Dog, we really appreciate you. I appreciate you. I know CK does too. And this is very simple. This is a space for us to hang out and talk Panthers football. But he is right. There's one great thing you can do. The greatest thing you can do to support this podcast is give your time, energy, and support, just like C-Dog did. You can smash the thumbs up button. You can subscribe. But all you got to do is hit a share button, man. If you're watching on X, you're watching on something, just repost. Those small things really help us continue to grow as we've grinded like
algorithm.
Yeah, and just grind. It's the grind, man. I was thinking, everybody's like, get on TikTok. Yeah, I'm like, man, I only got so much time. I can only cut so many clips. I can only upload so many things. YouTube's a different space, bro. You're going to have 50,000 followers on TikTok. But if you got 10,000 followers, which we have 6,000 followers on YouTube, we grinded for every one of you. And thank you, C-Dog. That's all you got to do. Time, attention, thumbs up, subscribe, share is a great thing. We got 2 calls to go, CK, and then we do have to talk about, I'm going to put it up on the screen as we
go into the
play this goal.
Baby. Woo! Yo, we need a big game from Jalen Coker. I love what Bryce Young's doing with T-Mac, but it feels like it's like forced. Seeing that Jalen Coker is now the official number 2 receiver in the lineup. Oof, big game from Jalen Coker incoming. I already beat him once. Let's beat him again. Bank will be even louder. Are we going to the Super Bowl? Are we going to the Super Bowl, boys? Is it too early to get hyped?
No.
Oh, that was
Never
it.
Too early.
Too
Too
early to get hyped. No, we're already there. Many of us, CK called it weeks ago.
Yeah, we bought the Super Bowl tickets already. We're on our way.
Do they make you buy those already?
No.
We
don't. We don't get that benefit. We only have the benefit of the home games. When those happen. But maybe the Panthers will grant us with a booth at Radio Row for media days at the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be crazy?
If you did, we'll give you free drone coverage.
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll do your drone for an entire year. Like you just shoot me over to the Super
Bowl. To offer it, bro. We tried to offer it.
I did.
Next call. Last call.
I just did it.
What's up, Tony? It's CPG. One last time, I just wanted to say this. I know I've been typing it in chat, but I didn't realize this, and I doubt you have either, because it's not like we sit around and put much time and thought into it. But Mr. T Money 1993, you know him. Me and him.
I do.
Partner with you all the time back in the day. He has the longest running Panthers channel, from what I can tell, unless somebody else knows one. His was made sometime in 2009. And from what I can tell, I'm the second longest running. And then it's The Way I See It's channel. And then it's C3, which does make C3 the longest running Panthers podcast in the game. Also means I'm the second longest running Panthers YouTube channel in the game, which is crazy, man. Look at us. We've been doing this for a long time. We done inspired a new generation of people to get on here and talk about the Panthers. Salute, Tony. We've been putting in the work for this fan base for a long time, man.
Yeah.
Proud of you, everybody at C3. And shout out to Panther Nation, all my Panther family out there. Love y'all. Keep pounding. Y'all at Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah. First, I love T Money 1993. Actually, I haven't talked to him in a long time. Carolina Panthers guy. When I wanted to clarify too, when I say the longest running Panthers podcast, What I mean by that is we haven't missed a week since 2014. Now we've had to shuffle some days around. We may have had to move a podcast to where we do a Thursday instead of a two, you know what I mean? Some things like that. That's the only thing I mean. It's not about the longevity of how much other people have put in. So I thank all of y'all. I mean, it's not just like, I'm sure that when I say it, sometimes to the ear of some people, it's like, look at this, look at this. It's more of just like, hey, Tuesdays. And if like I'm getting married, we're going to do it on a Thursday. That type of thing right there. All right. Those are calls for tonight. CK is a couple last final things for the show. What have we missed? One thing has been the talked about was who's banging the damn drum for this game.
Mm-hmm.
And is the conversation, as I saw this, I saw a couple people talking about it, and then I saw the Vashti people. What's the other guy? I forget her name. I should
Sheena.
Because Sheena. It's like who else is going to do it other than Cam? Is the Cam Newton banging the drum discussion fan generated or a real thing potentially?
I think it's media generated.
Okay.
Because I think it did start with Vashti or Sheena or something along those lines. But I do think that it came with that one clip that Cam Newton put out from his podcast, 4th and 1, just smiling, seeing the bank is back, you know, and in that moment, like seeing Cam just reminisce about his time in Carolina and to see where the Panthers, where the bank is now, like it's poetic, and nobody could get, if you're talking about wanting to hype a crowd up, you put Cam Newton out there doing that, bro. I am telling you, this team will be unable to hear anything that's going on because that dude is the greatest hype man on the planet.
Can we do it at halftime?
Dude, I don't know, bro.
Can we do a double bang? Till we do you know what I'm saying? Like, good Lord. Do you think it happens, CK? Is this a real thing or not?
Is the way that Cam Newton has softened up to the Carolina Panthers, it feels possible. And honestly, if the Panthers aren't making this a priority, like, listen, we'll pay for your airfare, we'll get you down here. We need you down here. Because there is not, I mean, you could have Steve Smith down there, and I'm telling you,
it would not it'd be even close.
It wouldn't even be close. The moment you called out Cam Newton and showed up in the stadium, it is going to be another level.
And that's not a referendum on Steve Smith,
no.
how much we like him. It's just do you save it? Can David Tepper put his ego? I don't even want to get my hopes up and think about it. I want to turn the game on. How about this? I'm turning the game on a few minutes early just for this.
Yeah. So here,
are we
let
tracking?
me ask you this.
Can we get a couple of people? Do you remember when they used to do the old saw this person like free agency? Do you remember it was free agency? They'd be like, oh, saw this person at the Charlotte airport.
Dude. Yeah.
And we can start getting some people to taking pictures like tracking. Is Cam on the move? Is he flying south?
Yeah. I think what would be interesting is if Cam Newton, if you had a few surprises come out, like who else would be a surprise coming out of the tunnel to do that? Would it be
Luke? Has he done it yet?
Yeah, he's done it because he works for the organization. He's done that. Stu has already done it. You had Charles Johnson do it. Trey Boston's done it. Greg Olsen did it.
Nobody would even be close. Almost it's
D'Angelo Williams.
But he's not even. We don't even really like him.
No, but I think that would be just as surprising.
Yeah, That would be like if this was a WWE thing and he's like mad at the Panthers, and then fucking D'Angelo like rips his shirt off and has a Rams jersey underneath.
Dude, how funny would it be? I was getting ready. AP, I was gonna say Ray Caruth, but I decided not to. I decided not to. But or Calvin Benjamin.
yeah, no kidding. I like this. We'll finish. This is about what we've got. We'll do a little pick. So like final. Olsen calling the game. Cam starting the drums. Luke doing the drums in the fourth. I've already finished. He said, "Give me a cigarette." I did want to put this up. See if I got it real quick.
Steph Curry would be a good one.
Yeah, I think he's done it before too.
Oh yeah, you're right. He has. Luke Combs.
Luke Combs
got to do it. Breaking the curse.
As we go into this story I saw on NFL.com, who's most likely to win the Super Bowl, ranking all 14th playoff contenders. We'll not go through all of them. They said, look, it was like, hey, we know. The first part of the article was like, we get it. You think this is a wow. And then they tried to make their case. Yeah, the Rams at 1, the Panthers at 14.
Yeah.
Now, logically, for the way their argument worked out, this had to be the way it was, though. Because the guy writing the article says, I believe the Rams are going to win it. They have to beat the Panthers. So they have to arguably be the 14th. You couldn't be like the Rams are 1 and the Panthers are 7. But the Panthers are 10.5-point dogs at home. But Cam Newton's going to bang the drum. Luke Kuechly's going to call the game and run out there. D'Angelo Williams is going to run out there and rip out, and he's going to say this. He's going to run out in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform and say no, and he's going to rip it off and be a Panther fan.
And they're going to have Ron Rivera in the locker room telling people not to miss opportunities.
Fuck you. Do you remember that? Oh, my God. The one time I was like, I love you, Ron, when he just cursed the fuck out of them.
Oh, I know. And it did nothing. We came out and just got shellacked.
Cam got his shoulder just below. I'm sorry, the real AP. The real AP hates this. I'm sorry. You know what? The day this Panther fan, this podcast ain't going to be a little Cam Newton smooth fest is when you get a motherfucker in here that's better and means more to me than him, or I'm dead. That's it. All right. Right now, I think that's about it, CK, for what we've got in store for the show. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Also, CK, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
But we're playing playoff game, and god damn that motherfucker who had to say it like that, because why did I just say it like that? It's the playoffs. The Carolina Panthers have an opportunity to stun, to contend, that cross, or oh my god, that third option that we don't want. It's been a really and this is we'll talk about it next week, CK. But I was thinking about this is when we're talking about those 3 scenarios, and like Cody was getting the flack about not like pulling for the Falcons and stuff like this. Is if we would have finished with the same record, somehow we would have beat Tampa, but they would have had the tiebreaker where somebody else snuck in.
Yeah.
I think I would have felt just as good about this season. Like, you know what I'm saying? We finished with the same record. Somehow the tiebreakers didn't work out. I wouldn't have felt like this was. So the stakes of this game right now, to me, are the trajectory of our hope and optimism. And let's hope we're 45-35 and not that underage option that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. We're here live 9 p.m. We've got 2 final. Well, I guess this is who you think is going to win. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is I'm rooting with my heart and soul for the Panthers to stun. I hope that we contend. I truly don't want that that blowout potential of what it could do for our mindset, our psyche. I'm gonna pick the Panthers to lose.
Oh no.
I mean, hey, you know what? I haven't picked the Panthers very well all year, so this is a good thing. If you pick the Panthers to win this game, are you picking with your head or your heart?
I think I am picking with destiny in mind.
There you go. Thank you.
I'm picking with the fact that
Suck up.
all arrows point to the Panthers making it to the final game and finally bringing home the chip. We have J-Lo bringing us home. We have the Ohio State national championship last year bringing us home. We have Jacksonville being our opening game. And then on the same day, 22 years ago, on that Super Bowl playoff game, we played the Rams, in which X-Clown, after double overtime, got us to the next level, which is the NFC Championship. At this rate, it's not going to be the NFC Championship. It'll be the divisional round, but nonetheless, like, destiny is calling. And while there are a lot of things lining up, we're doing it different than any other team has done. I would argue in the history of the NFL, being that there's never been a team make it to the playoffs with a losing record. So I am going, or make it to the Super Bowl with a losing record. So I'm going with the Panthers to upset the Rams in similar fashion as they did earlier in the season.
I like it. You suck up. All right. It's our final segment. It's the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. And that just means consecutively. And that's also an honor I just made up. So don't worry. T-Money 1993. Still like you. And I see you on Snapchat. It's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. CK, I hope you got something, because I am struggling. I think I was like thinking of some things earlier. Sometimes I have some things queued up. Sometimes I have some stuff bookmarked. I don't got anything great right now.
So you're going to find this disappointing, but on my social media hiatus, my information and what I can provide is very limited. But I'll tell you this. If you are a president of a country that's in our hemisphere, and there's a incentive for us to, go and capture you, I'm just going to go ahead and ice you up, because that's kind of what happened to the Venezuelan president. So I'm icing him up. I'm icing up. I don't even know whether it was the right move. I don't know anything about it. I've done no research into
I know.
it.
Somebody asked me about it, and I was just like, I tried to Google it a little, and it was just like the day-to-day shit. And I was like, why? What's going on this much?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but all I can say is, if nothing else, it's incredibly impressive to fly in, kidnap a president of another country with no losses of any sort from like equipment or people. It's just a wild prospect. And if nothing else, I'm icing up the fact that, that was a possibility with our military. If you ever question the ability our military has to do something, like that should make you realize, like, real quick, that, if they wanted something to happen, they can make it happen. It's not much in the world that's going to stop them from hitting the whatever they want to do. So anyway, I'm icing up.
When you get back on social media, look at that AI video of Trump dressed up with the mustache doing the Venezuelan. It's so silly and dumb. I hate that I laughed at it. My ice up will be this: is I'm gonna ice up that Rams podcast that I was listening to today, and they just talked about how shitty the NFC South was, which is fair, like to say they suck. But then to on the other side of your mouth say that the Patriots didn't play anybody and that you had this toughest, they had the easiest schedule. I want to know how. I truly want to know how the NFC West had the tough, like how the Rams had the toughest schedule, because I think that's only based because they had to play their division. Because if you think the NFC South does suck, then how did you have the toughest?
Yeah.
So I just say this is like, I'm icing up this is that, and I don't know if it was a Mark Twain quote, is like it's statistics, damn statistics and lies. I can find any way to twist numbers and this and that. Don't tell us. Well, look, as I just think, ice up to this is that you say that this is the shittiest division. You lost to 2 teams in it, but that Drake May didn't play anybody. And that does not mean that I don't believe that Matt Stafford should be the MVP. I don't have a dog in the horse, but I do think Drake May, good Lord, Mike Vrabel and them doing things there. CK, it's been wonderful hanging out with you. Another Tuesday night show in the books. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast. My name's Tony Dunn. That's CK. Hold on. I got to figure out this is... Right.
Outro.
I guess you're going to say this is, look, Cam Newton, beat that drum, keep pounding.